Hello, today's March 22nd. It's Friday, and we're here with nonsense and social media for you.
Which, as a lot of people point out, and we get it, there's a lot of Facebook news.
There just is right now, though.
There's just a lot of Facebook
It's
news.
circling the drain.
Facebook is like they're dead men walking and they don't even realize it.
I think some people realize it.
Yeah, but they have all the other companies to keep them afloat.
For
I think
now.
they can keep that going a long time.
It's like in Star Trek when Data's daughter died and the Admiral comes out and he's like, his hands were moving so fast I couldn't even see them. That's Zuck trying to keep things alive.
It's exactly like that. That's a perfect analogy. Remember the crazy woman that drove across the country to go to YouTube and shoot people?
She wore a diaper so she wouldn't have to poop.
No,
so she
that
could
was the astronaut.
That was the astronaut.
Oh, right.
You're mixing up your crazy women.
Yeah.
But she's got some company.
YouTuber has been arrested after crossing the U.S. to threaten Google for deleting his channel, but it turns out it was his wife. Didn't think that the YouTube career was worth starting. So
The sound I just made is the face he's
Yeah.
making.
It does look like the face of regret, doesn't it?
It's like, oh, I've made a mistake.
So this guy had done some time for some kind of violent
vehicular
act.
manslaughter.
Oh, that's right. Oh no, he accidentally killed his friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he decided to make a YouTube channel about improving YouTube results and making money on YouTube. And then the wife said it was like madness and didn't represent reality. So she deleted it. But I guess she didn't tell him. So he went to YouTube with 3 baseball bats. How do you wield 3 baseball bats at the same time?
Was he alone?
one with your toes?
Yeah,
His-
it's by himself.
His wife didn't go with
No,
it.
no,
No, because
she-
his
at
wife
no
didn't
point
know. She was
called
just
him
like,
and
you're
was
getting
just like,
obsessive about this, and she deleted it.
So
Another moment of like discussion probably would have saved this, but
You think that AI app from the last episode would
the
have
mediator.
yeah.
could have helped with this? It
He vandalized a bathroom on the way. I don't know why.
was just so
Sometimes
angry.
you just got that
And
rage inside
I
you.
guess so. And then that's why he got pulled over and admitted, yeah, I'm going to YouTube to kick some ass. So, oh well. Those crazy people with their YouTube channels. Now, we don't
Terrible
use
people.
Instagram. None of us, right?
No.
Stacy.
Stacy does.
Yeah.
The Facebook. It's just
But-
so bad.
Let's say if this were Twitter. You delete all of your tweets for free flights. Would you do it, Wendell?
I don't like flying, so no.
I might do that.
Is it that you don't like flying or that you love your tweets?
I don't like flying. If I liked flying, I probably would delete Twitter. I actually do delete old tweets from time
What
to
about
time.
free gasoline for a year?
I don't drive that much.
Yeah, I might do flying though. 'Cause
You're
I
gonna
think
find an
flying's fun.
excuse.
If
What
it,
about free pizza?
if it was like if for a 2-year period they would upgrade you to like the top of the line consumer platform
Yeah.
for free, I would do it. So if
What,
it's
you're
like
talking about PC?
yeah, if it was like we'll give you like the W
Oh.
3175 or like a dual processor EPIC system with like a half a terabyte of RAM, and they upgraded to whatever was the state of the art for like a 2-year period, I'd do it.
But what are you
think
going to
your
do?
Twitter's worth that?
But you're going to be making all those new builds and you're not going to be able to tweet them.
Yeah, that's fine.
You can put them on
Do
YouTube.
videos. Post it on the
So,
forum.
yeah, it's like, I could do without cocaine. I'll just do heroin.
Black tar.
Yeah, meth is fine. Yeah. Oh, well.
JetBlue is offering free flights for a year if you delete all your Instagram posts. Well, it's a contest, so if you win,
Of course it is.
then
yeah.
you have to delete your Instagram posts.
I would totally do that.
No, I think you have to do that preemptively.
Do you?
Yeah.
How do you enter?
You delete all your Instagram posts.
Like us on Instagram.
And you post one thing on Instagram, which is their, like, you fill in this word, all you can, and it's the thing that you would do if you got those free flights for a year.
Drink.
All you can lonely.
All you can drink. Just getting wasted at the airport bar.
So, until the end of March 8th, which I guess is next year, right? So you should have already gotten started.
Oh yeah, your Instagram feed can only contain your custom. See, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could go do that now. Like, I don't care.
You don't have an Instagram.
Exactly.
Oops. Yeah. So that, I mean, do you think that sucks if you do that and then you don't win, right?
Yeah, I don't know if Stacy could do that. I mean, she is our influencer.
Do you think when you delete Instagram posts, can a third party tell that you had any posts before then? Like, what would stop people from just registering a new
There's
Instagram?
probably something like Social Blade that is indexing all that somewhere.
But if you just started a new one and you had like 2 Instagrams, you deleted those.
Yeah.
You'd still... I guess they choose the person.
They're probably
right?
looking for an influencer so they can say, oh, JetBlue sponsored me to go to this cool, amazing place, and here's all my food pictures from here.
For sure. Right. That's going to be a really pretty girl who wants to go to beach locations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Europe.
No. Got to be a beach location because they need those bikini shots.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was thinking Europe because they always were like, oh, eating a baguette in France, there's no other way to live. And it's always something, and then like 20 hashtags.
They wouldn't be allowed on that one street.
We'll see. Well, they would because then, after then, I guess.
No, there's a law now. You can't go on that one street.
But then I was going to say they couldn't Instagram anyway, but after that they could.
Yeah.
Misinformation. It's social media spreads it, right? It's like
we spread it because we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
But we don't spread it nearly as much as, the Facebook people.
We're only spreading it because we ourselves have been confused by misinformation.
Because we're old and tired.
But what are you going to do about it? How do you stop it? Google has a solution.
WhatsApp is exploring Google to fight misinformation. So yeah, this is like, because the messages are encrypted, right? So there needs to be something in WhatsApp that lets you, like, quote unquote, do a fact check real quick to prevent things from going viral. It's like, you wouldn't believe what the prime minister is planning. Like, think like Theresa May is planning to outlaw cats. It's like, what? I need to tell my friends about this. That's actually happening in India, like where technology is being adopted rapidly in places that don't have technology. Socially, they're not hardened against clickbait and things that are worse than clickbait. So building some protections for that kind of stuff into the end client is necessary for emerging markets for apps like WhatsApp.
So
but
it's
in the case we're talking about with India, though, like, wasn't it like, oh, this guy who moved to our town killed someone or something?
Yeah, and it was just totally made up.
But, like, how would you fact check that quickly?
Well,
like,
so they're
Google.
looking for, like,
yes, but
copy pasta type stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's a chain letter type thing and you're perpetuating that, it can find that. But the cooler thing about it, it will look and see if the image you are receiving is unique or if it exists on the web already.
like TinEye.
If it reverse image lookups the picture, it's like, imagine a girl sends you a picture and it's like, oh, hey, I felt cute earlier today. And WhatsApp's going to be like, this is a model.
I've got some bad news for you, though. There's that AI that makes totally unique human faces the world has never seen before. It's going to defeat that AI.
That's true.
It's a battle of AIs.
You got to click that refresh button till you get one that looks really good, though. It doesn't have like any of the weird floating knuckles or earrings or whatever. Now, speaking of Twitter, Wendell, this meant nothing to me, but how excited are you?
Twitter reveals big changes to conversations and new camera features. These do not affect me because I do not use the app.
Use the app.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So it's just going to make it more obvious when you are using live or location-specific video and images.
Yeah. All Jack's got to do to get me to stop using Twitter is require me to use the app, at which point I will no longer use Twitter.
I don't think that's
Twitter.
You have it on your desktop a lot, too.
That sort of makes sense, I guess. Do a lot of people fake that they're at a location when they're really not on Twitter?
Yes.
Really?
They really do. And they also, like, a lot of the celebrities are like, oh my gosh, this new iPhone is amazing, sent from Android.
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time.
But they'll spoof the GPS just to get around that.
Which that's kind of sad, isn't it?
Although if you're live streaming, that'll be tougher to do. But apparently, so if you're if you're covering the yellow vests, then it can be like, oh yeah, this person really is in France. They're actually doing the thing.
Will not be a problem for celebrities that are doing a thing.
Yeah.
But there you go.
We talked last week about the anti-vaccine people, and they are just getting frozen out of everywhere. Yeah. There's nowhere that Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, there's some more, right?
The anti-vaccine people are almost militant as well.
Netflix, I think, got rid of some of those things. And here's the weird part about it. When your message is somewhat contradictory.
Jack Dorsey's records podcasts with an anti-vaccine fitness personality, Ben Greenfield. Although, I think this article is a little unfair because, like, Ben Greenfield was, yes, he's anti-vax, and anti-vax is, like, kind of dumb, like, actually really dumb. But they didn't talk about that on the podcast. It's just that he's somebody
affiliated with that movement.
Yeah, but what you just said applies. It's like the anti movement is so extreme that they've become more extreme than what they're fighting against. Like it's like Antifa.
Yeah.
Like they're more violent than the white nationalists at this point.
Are we really to the point where
yes,
like this person is an anti-vaxxer, therefore everything that they have to say on any topic is worthless?
Absolutely. Well,
yeah,
that's like the whole.
It's not right.
It's okay to punch Nazis thing. Like literally, violence is okay because of an ideology. That's the kind of crazy world that we're entering into.
Oh, it's a slippery slope.
With no self-awareness that could then be turned against you on the next revolution. When you veto the laws and you declare national emergencies, the next president.
This kind of thing happens a lot in the Linux community as well. It's funny that the anti-vaxxers and a lot of the more toxic elements of the Linux community have so much in common and personality trait-wise. Because
once again, a perfect analog, just like the data reference. The world is exactly like that.
You know how whenever I talk about Lord of the Rings,
now here's a thought. Do you think it could be that it's because the Linux community is made up of people?
That's been the problem all along.
Well, once again, we must talk about the
horribleness of people,
the New Zealand tragedy.
Yeah,
and
really terrible people.
It's a terrible thing, but I think it was the Obama's one of his teachers had the famous quote of "Never let a catastrophe." What was it? Catastrophe go to waste or something like that.
Like that. Yeah.
I like that you kind of had to stutter over it because you're like a little sleepy.
Well, I couldn't remember what the word was, but anyway, when something terrible happens, legislate immediately was his idea.
Leverage the disaster,
and we are seeing that for sure.
Yeah, Reddit has banned /r/watchpeopledie in the wake of the New Zealand mosque massacres. So this is probably one Reddit's been wanting to get rid of for a while, and this is just the excuse to do so.
Well, I'm
kind of okay with it. I mean, like,
what was the name of the thing? Quarantine.
Yeah,
I think they'd already quarantined it, so. That meant you had to subscribe to see it, I think.
Yeah.
And it never got out of... Anyway, not just that one. I don't know if this article mentions it, but several PewDiePie subreddits.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, no. Do you know that the guy said...
Yeah, his whole thing was a troll, though, right?
The whole manifesto was a troll. But a lot of people are not understanding that, which I think was his vision.
Point.
He's...
See, I hadn't really heard anything about the shooter, which is kind of a good thing.
He got everything he wanted out of this, which is the disgusting part. Like, a lot of these shooters are looking for attention. And I think this guy was looking for attention and just trolling hard. And, boy, can he sit back in prison and look at how he affected the world. That is, not a good tactic. When
sad.
A lot of other people probably want that same thing, and now they see an avenue with which to take it. Now that we've covered the horribleness of all the other social medias, let's talk purely about Facebook.
No.
For like 10 minutes.
Well, here's some good news, though, if you hate Facebook, right?
Facebook struggles to deal with an epic outage. It had an outage. It wasn't the victim of an attack or anything. It just was a server configuration problem.
And Instagram went down as well. A couple others, I think.
Because Facebook owns and controls Instagram.
Yeah, and people were very upset when I finally logged back in, like, the next day. People were like, where's Facebook? What was I supposed to do? I can't browse the marketplace.
See, as addicted to Twitter as I am, I don't think it would bother me if it was down for a half a day or a day.
But what if you need cheap crap from the marketplace?
I smell the no Twitter challenge.
I mean, I like Twitter because I can get up-to-the-minute information on what's happening, but if Twitter's down for everybody, I don't care.
Oh, okay. So you leaving Twitter is unacceptable, but if there is no Twitter...
That's fine.
It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's
an interesting twist.
Yeah, that's kind of a dark view of the world. It's kind of like, not too many steps later, it's why don't we just destroy everything? Why don't we just watch the world burn? Right?
That is the natural conclusion of this podcast, isn't it? I mean... It's kind of how we got started.
How many people you think lost their job? over this.
I was wondering if, like, was it just one intern, you think, who just screwed
Well, they
something up
mentioned
so
it
badly?
something was misconfigured that propagated through the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that, like, usually this kind of thing is referred to as, like, a post-mortem. And so, like, the post-mortem for this is going to be, like, really, really uncomfortable for some people. They're just going to be like, oh, what do we learn from this? And then it's going to be, like, one of those pleasant things, but it'll be like that scene in the movie, where, like, the Nazis come to the cottage and, like, everybody's hiding in the rafter and the Nazis, like, drinking the milk and they're all, like, laughing and happy and then they shoot somebody. It's going to be like that.
Zuckerberg's going to call that guy into his office.
Yeah.
And he's going to be eating undercooked goat with his hands. And and then that guy's going to step onto the square where the chute releases down into it and he's going to hit the button.
That was the Jack Dorsey reference. That was very good.
His stomach, whenever you mess something up like that anyway, like your stomach just drops. But in this case, his whole body's just going to drop through the chute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be like laughing about it and the guy's going to start to feel better. That's the really insidious thing. It's like, oh, thank God my family's going to be so upset. And then he's just going to be gone. Like, he's just going to disappear and he's not going to be there.
But the
mercy of a quick death.
The scene that you're referencing from Inglourious Bastards, you knew all along that there was nothing good coming out of that. That guy's a hell of an actor. Revenge porn. That's a big problem, right?
I guess so.
When you seems like nobody can learn that recording porn is a bad idea. I mean, you think about Jeff Bezos.
Oh.
Jeff Bezos.
Those texts, did you read those texts?
I did not.
Oh.
Did you? They're wow.
But he had images too, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about the
images.
but
there were definitely
the text
images.
was kind of like cringy, like 14-year-old poetry.
So when you're worth hundreds of billions of dollars and you know exactly how dark the tech world is, and you still are sending nudes, is there any hope for anybody?
Reuters has their next article. Facebook readies AI tech to combat revenge porn. I wonder what sort of data set they trained it on.
But how do you know revenge porn from just regular porn?
You just scoop it all up and sort it out later.
I guess porn's not allowed on Facebook at all, right?
No, it's not supposed to be, no.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Good luck. Good luck stamping out porn.
I felt like you might, for a minute there, you might be foreshadowing a later story from the nonsense section about recording things.
I don't remember which one you're referencing. So Facebook, despite all of its failures, it is terrifyingly a place where a lot of people are consuming their news
and they're making money hand over fist.
And so, you know who's losing from this? Other news organizations like Vice, and they don't like it.
Motherboard, that's weird, has this article. Consumer groups want to tax Facebook to save journalism. A proposal would tax targeted ads in a bid to bring some money back to those that actually make the news. Aww, that headline's a little salty.
Terrible idea. Now, Facebook distributing the news, that's bad. But this idea of how to deal with it is to tax it at some ludicrous rate, put all that money into a government slush fund, which the government decides who to dole it out to.
That doesn't seem like that would be abuse at all.
Do you think that...
What could go wrong?
Well, if there was a website like Vice, for example, do you think they would be critical of the government?
No.
Who is handing out the Facebook money?
No, not at all. What could go wrong?
I think you were trying to be sarcastic there, but you were accidentally agreeing.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
They wouldn't. They'd be fine.
They, in fact, would not. And I don't think anybody would, because...
You need that sweet money because no one's using your ad dollars.
Yeah, that's your paycheck. So, I don't know. Terrible idea, but I think the social media news thing, tax, is definitely going to be something that we hear a lot about.
Oh, it's a dupe. This one's a dupe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
We've made a mistake. Don't look.
Skip.
You never saw that. Well, they're all Facebook stories, right? So who cares?
It doesn't matter, yeah.
I mean, it's all the same anyway. And this one is more bad news for the Zuckerberg.
Facebook is under criminal investigation over data sharing deals, says the New York Times report. Now, we reported on this last week, but there's a lot of new information in this CNN Business article about the criminal investigation. So, turns out that Facebook may not have been complying even with its own user policy in terms of how it was sharing data with its partners, and they're investigating. So, who would have guessed?
Now, criminal investigation.
Yeah.
So, who do you think goes down if there's a sentence there?
Oh, not Zuckerberg. He didn't know.
Yeah. He
He
will.
had no idea.
It's going to be Sandberg or one of the other people that were fired.
Well, remember Cambridge Analytica? That was the big story. It's like, oh, well, no one
we
knew.
didn't know.
We had no idea what was going on here. So, how if you're part of the, if you're like number 7 in line at Facebook, how terrified are you right now?
Pretty terrible. Turns out
Scared.
if the AG's come and knocking, it's like, sure, what do you want to know? Here's my laptop, my company laptop.
You're sitting there at your desk thinking, man, I'm way underqualified for this. Why am I even here? Oh,
You give him that laptop and you're like, hey, I'm just going to go in the bathroom and start crying. See ya. Let me know if you need anything.
Speaking of Facebook scapegoats, let's talk about the
and Facebook blaming others for what they did.
Facebook sues over data-grabbing quizzes. Never mind that Facebook controls the API that the quizzes use, but it's like, you know, who is your first, last, and the only love? Start test, and then you literally, it's like, oh, this is entertaining. No, the algorithm is harvesting you. You're being harvested.
My favorite one was like, find out what your eye color says about your love life or something like that.
Oh, people post those all over the place. It's like Quizilla, but the quizzes aren't even good anymore.
Yeah. So it turns out that they were harvesting a lot more than your answers even. And Facebook is angry about that.
Facebook is like, man, we created this API that does this in the first place, and we've got logs so good we can go back years and figure out how you've scraped the API profile thing so we can sue these terrible... We didn't think anybody would use it this way. I mean...
Man, we set up all this dynamite and somebody had the balls to come and push down the plunger. What's going on? What kind of country do we live in here?
We also had signage going to the plunger and like
This way to
explanation.
plunger.
Yeah.
Danger, do not press plunger.
Now let's move on to nonsense. And this story, I feel like might have been a duplicate, but it shows my ignorance of the Indian geography. All right. So let's look at this one first.
Okay.
They didn't see us coming. 10 arrested in Gujarat for playing PUBG.
You think that's pronounced Gujarat?
Maybe not.
Gujarat?
Gujarat.
Somebody in the comments will tell.
Gujarat.
Well, Gujarat or Gujarat or whatever it is.
Gujarat.
They banned PUBG, and specifically PUBG, which is interesting. Apparently Fortnite, still legal.
A-okay.
Well, PUBG's too realistic. And by too realistic, I mean you're going to clip through that door.
So anyway,
Get shot through a wall.
they said absolutely no PUBG at all. No more. And the cops actually went around and found guys playing it in like tea shops that are sort of like, you know, cyber cafes.
Internet cafe, yeah.
And on their phones, just sitting outside in dining areas or whatever. Grab
Round them up.
Pull them right off the street, take them in, charge them. Now here's where the geography thing becomes a problem.
Wait. After Rajkot ban,
Rajkot, but that's different than Gujarat.
It is.
police arrest 10
Is
for
it?
playing PUBG.
Is this 10 different people or is this just like the same thing? I don't know.
No.
The story is almost identical.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe,
what did it
so
happen?
somewhere between 10 and 20 people were arrested in India for playing
We couldn't
PUBG.
tell you how many, though.
Could
Or
this
where it was.
could this be fake news to scare everybody into not playing PUBG?
Perhaps, you know what?
But who's playing PUBG other than Chinese bots? At this
It could
point?
be Fortnite.
Desperately
Putting
trying
out
to keep their
fake
hold on the
news.
market.
Uh,
Wouldn't you want to do that with Apex Legends? Like 10 arrested for playing Apex Legends?
Well, Apex Legends is maybe too successful. You probably want to start with Anthem.
Yeah.
Like Anthem is, and then it's like, oh yeah, okay.
but I think the Asian market is way more into the mobile version.
Yeah.
And Apex doesn't have that.
No, that's
That's
true.
true.
Yeah. Well, everybody's seen this picture, right?
Yes.
This is the distracted boyfriend couple and starring Hungary profile. What was the country that banned this ad? We covered that.
No, it's a different ad, I think. But then look at this. This one's funny, though.
Well, this type of ad, this entire class of ad was banned.
I think it was this one that they banned.
Yeah.
This is not the story, though.
Yeah, this is a different ad.
I'm always find it striking how similar these two girls look.
Yeah.
Anyway, these guys, just like Harold, Harold on Imager, like the
Yeah. Bad Time Harold.
Yeah.
Feels Bad Harold.
These
whatever.
guys have a giant library of stock photography. They have one for nearly every topic that you could ever want. And somebody in Hungary, I guess, didn't realize how famous these guys were.
So it's a happy family. On the flyer there.
Or maybe it was a deliberate meme.
So they are encouraging Hungarians to have children. Now, this is a little darker than you might imagine because this is a government party who's a little anti-immigration. So they're actually like, let's keep Hungary pure by having pure white children.
Oh.
No, they don't say.
Well, yeah, when you put it that way, though, it kind of is like,
Engagement challenge if you live in Hungary. Is that accurate?
Hungary.
We don't know.
But Hungary is, they're suffering the demographic problem. You know, they don't have the replacement rate that's going on. And they're actually giving you a tax break. This is so much of a nightmare for me. This sounds like a living hell. Single mothers who can get up to 4 children start to get tax breaks. Start to get money back.
wow.
So they're
That
actually
sounds like a disaster.
They're actually, yeah. You really think that immigrants are going to be worse than fatherless poor children? No.
So there's some flawed logic there.
That's going to be real bad. Nothing against fatherless poor children.
New York tried that in like the 80s and 70s. It did not work out.
Yeah, that's going to be bad for
You
them.
can't incentivize that.
But the good news is they
Still help them.
They got a cool billboard. And the distracted boyfriend people got a couple of bucks off that Shutterstock sale. So, hey, why not? Now, here's a story that shows the vast cultural ocean between the U.S. and Japan, right? Because literally we assume right off the bat that all of our celebrities are on cocaine. All of them.
I was thinking actually when I read this that the marketing team for like Sega America would be celebrating this. They'd be like,
All right.
And it is kind of like a gangster game.
yeah. It's like Japan Sega game sales halted after cocaine arrest. So this actor was caught with cocaine.
No. He only tested positive for cocaine. They didn't catch him having it.
Oh, okay. It was
But
like
he
his
had
pee
it
or
at
whatever.
some point in the past.
It was like I thought it was said that they detected trace amounts or small amount or something.
They suspected him and tested him, so it was in his system, but there was no possession
Yeah, so they've halted sales of the game
in Japan.
voluntarily.
Right. Because
Wow.
their drug laws over there are crazy. And it turns out
Even for rich people.
there was, exactly. There was a similar situation. There was another game, or maybe it was a movie or something. And they suspected this one guy of being on cocaine. And he quit the business forever and they canceled it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a different culture.
Yeah, whereas here in America, it'd be like, great, press. No such thing as bad press.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Woo.
Send him to rehab.
Do more drugs.
Oh, yeah, they could make a big thing about rehab. So, like, how jaded and callous is this? It's like, we'll send the actor to rehab and it'll be like this success story. And so this is like, oh, yes, my acting is where I found solace and whatever. Like, that's how it would happen in America.
Yeah. And plus, because it's a movie about, or a game about crime, that just plays into it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's real. This is gritty and real.
It'd be like
Have
the
they
story
not-
of Ralph from RimWorld.
Have they never heard of rap music? Because that's a thing.
I'm
rap
sure
music.
Japanese rap music is a thing.
We
That
had
is a thing.
We had that story from a couple of years ago about the guy stealing credit cards. Who was legit
A
stealing
couple
credit
of
cards.
years ago, I think it was last week.
It was only like
It feels like there was a time before I had kittens, so it feels like a lifetime ago
You personally gave birth to the kid.
when I could sleep. If you've ever read about quantum anything, quantum
It's confusing
mechanics,
very quickly.
physics, when things get really small, they just get crazy.
It is not like anything that you understand.
And you're never going to understand it. And even the people who study it, they have no clue. And this story really illustrates that.
A quantum experiment suggests there's no such thing as objective reality. This is my favorite story ever this week. Because I learned about this in school, and it was like, what?
So, yeah, they've got a little,
To
Yeah, you
continue reading.
Oh.
Thanks, MIT.
You got to use the outline.com version.
I was gonna say,
I-
or you can just firebug it.
it's worth doing because I was able to read this. And they have a nice little, I hope the illustration comes through.
Well, so this has been postulated forever, and like pretty much every physics undergrad will learn about this situation. But they actually were able to devise an experiment to test it, and it turned like the experiment confirms that it is actually like mind-bendingly crazy.
So this is like the old particle wave type deal. And, 2 observers can actually see a different reality. And it's like, is the observer creating their own reality? Are they affecting what's happening? And this experiment actually confirms pretty well that, yes, they can observe two different realities.
Each observer is experiencing reality differently. There's not one objective reality. Isn't that insane?
But it's one of those things about physics where you're just like, oh, what does it all mean? To you, effectively, nothing.
Well, would you say that math is invented or discovered?
I try not to think about math when I can.
I would say that it would have to be discovered.
I normally lean toward math is discovered. This experiment suggests that math is invented.
But you cannot escape these laws. See, what's going to happen is people are going to read that headline who know nothing about physics. And they're going to be like, the secret was real. I'm going to imagine riches into my life and everything I've ever dreamed of. And that's not going to work.
There's a few of these experiments that do sort of woo undergrads into studying something like physics, but most of it's pretty mundane. But it really is like, so you do the experiment and it's like, you've got the result, you keep the result to yourself. And then I do the experiment, and I get a different result or whatever. There's a point at which, if we do things a little differently, our two realities will collapse into the same reality. And in this version, it's like, no, not so much. So it suggests that, time is maybe more interesting, or maybe some physicist somewhere is going to tack on a reference frame. Because like Einstein had the speed of light is the same in all reference frames, so time has to. There's something going on, but not with time and photons, with information. Just you knowing is what changes it.
But here's the thing. Imagine that it's the model of infinite universes, right? And just by merit of you being one or the other, knowing or not knowing, you spin off into a new reality every moment. You're still the person who has to deal with the consequences in that reality.
Yeah.
Not the guy from before. So
I want to trade places with that guy. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's not happening.
Effectively, nothing has changed. There are still consequences. So what are you going to do with that information? And excuse me. Back to India. This, once again, cultural ignorance. I'm going to have to plead cultural ignorance here. I had a hard time understanding what was going on in this commercial. Did you watch it?
Yes.
I guess like the girl was Hindu and the boy was Muslim. Is that what was happening there?
I guess.
So
they were playing together on a bicycle.
No, so they have a festival where
Diwali.
They throw colored water balloons and spray colored water or whatever.
It's Diwali, I think.
So the kid is going to some sort of religious thing where he needs a clean white outfit. So the little girl absorbs all of the color attacks to protect his clean white outfit, right? But then that upset people, and I don't understand it.
And the name of the laundry detergent was SurfExcel.
Yeah, so the headline.
So boycott SurfExcel, because that was apparently an outrageous commercial.
I don't know why, but yeah, people were angry. So yeah, Microsoft Excel is...
Is this the Indian version of like the 1930s blackface Disney commercials?
I was thinking, what was the one everyone was upset about, where it was like the Gillette "Be a Better Man" thing.
But I don't know who this is insensitive toward. Is it the girl who it's being insensitive to, or is it the boy?
Oh, I hit the mic.
I don't know. Someone tell us.
Yeah, chat. You're just gonna have to give us some direction here.
I'm lost. It seems like it's heartwarming from this side of the world.
Maybe you're not allowed to absorb the colors from somebody else's clothes on the Sabbath. Maybe that's the problem.
Sabbath's not a thing for these people. It's a totally different religion.
I think Allah did decree that the absorption of color should only happen throughout the work week. You gotta be real careful.
No sense.
Anyway. Microsoft Excel is getting downvotes and bad reviews because
of the commercial.
It's called SurfExcel.
I wonder if a Google search would lead you to our explanation of that. Like this Excel review is like like somebody reads this and it's like I don't understand why this is. They go on a 30-minute quest to try to understand that Excel review, and it turns out.
Well, I think
some things are hard to translate. I think.
Yeah, I think the nuances of this are probably wrapped up in like what that festival is and who it affects, and like
The history of how it's celebrated.
yeah. So who knows? I don't know. It's not me. And a lot of people when we say stuff like that, they say, "You ignorant, stupid Americans. Why don't you just Google it?" Because I don't care. Yeah, that's it comes back to that. I'm busy. I got kittens. I was holding the Surface tablet trying to read this, and they just kept walking in front of it and pointing their ass directly into my face.
They wanted you to look at that. They don't care about the news.
That's their favorite thing, is showing me their ass. Some people's favorite thing is taking selfies. And everybody knows the more risky the selfie is, the better it is. But you can go too far.
Woman attacked by a jaguar while taking a photo apologizes to the Arizona. This is good, though, because most people, like, okay, so she wandered into the enclosure behind the fence. I guess there's like 2 layers of fencing.
She was hanging.
Yeah.
She leaned in. And she was like holding the camera.
She leaned in to get good things from the universe.
So the jaguar attacked her arm. And the 911 call, I didn't listen to it, but the quote was, the zoo worker's like, she's not in any danger of dying, but her arm is messed up good.
I mean, so somebody actually sprang into
country zoo.
Somebody took a water bottle and like put it through the bars and rattled it, and that's the only reason the cat got distracted and let go of it. Now, here's the beautiful part about this, and there's so many Harambe memes this week because of that.
Oh yeah,
they are not going to kill the cat.
Yeah,
I saw that.
It was the person's fault, but at least there's enough like I don't know, introspection from this individual that it's like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I don't know what I was thinking.
But can you imagine the level of hate that she has received this week because of the Harambe thing?
Yeah,
it's like how stupid you're risking.
She's not keeping him out for Harambe.
Yeah. This cat's life is at risk because you're an idiot, and if you were taking a selfie, yeah, she has. Even with the apology, she's going to get a lot of hate. But can you imagine if she actually acted like she was the victim?
Oh, that would be even worse.
Yeah. Now, the 3 of us, I think it's safe to say, completely out of touch with modern teens.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's trying to hold on to her youth.
I'm saying, well, I actually hang out with teens from time to time, my younger cousins. They tell me what's hip. I'm not saying I'm hip, but they tell me what's hip.
Well, did you know about this one?
They all text, or they use Instagram.
The hottest chat app for teens is Google Docs. Because it looks
sense.
like they're working.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I think if I asked the kids what's a Google Doc, they probably wouldn't be able to tell me.
Well, no, I mean,
they'll use them in school.
You can do collaborative editing. So this is a great low-key way to, not paying any attention to anything, but it look like you're working on something.
So you pull up your document, and that's on the left, but then you have a tab on the right that is, annotations. So they just change their font to be something unique, and you've got a group chat in the annotations. And as soon as you click one button to resolve the annotations, it's gone forever. So while you're hanging out in class, you just hit them up.
You make the mistake of thinking that the school that my younger cousins go to has enough computers for everybody to actually be able to sit.
No, computers are not allowed in school.
These tweets were
set
great.
Number of classes they have where they have access to a computer.
This tweet was my favorite one. Krista, can you see that at all?
I can't read that from here. I see emojis from here.
If that's your man, why is he in my Google Docs chat bar? If you don't flirt with your girl over the chat feature on Google Docs for her paper you're editing together, somebody will. Presumably him.
Slide into those DMs, except it's not even slide into DMs because it's
Blake
just
Comanche
right on Google Doc.
Yeah, so that's a whole world that old folks aren't even hip to. Who knew?
Seems like there's better, more efficient ways, but...
And speaking of old folks...
Scientists have reawakened cells from a 28,000-year-old mammoth. Yucca, the woolly mammoth, died a long time ago, but scientists gave her cells a short time to be operational again. They didn't divide, though.
Yucca's looking pretty good.
She's screaming, kill me!
Well, she's already dead.
The cells are screaming, kill me.
She was trapped in permafrost. And
she's really well preserved, but the problem is that like even super well preserved DNA is going to degrade over time. So even though the machinery of the cell fired up again, the DNA wasn't operational enough for the cell to actually divide.
Could not reproduce. Unfortunate.
Are you telling me that Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park is not feasible?
It's so like we can, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because it's like, imagine a manuscript that, after 500 years, you divide it in half. And then after another 500 years, you divide it in half again.
Let me out pedantic you. That's actually the premise of the book.
Okay.
Because they have to fill it in with
Frog
random
DNA.
Yeah, and then that causes problems.
With the dinosaurs, would be more frog than, by the time you get dinosaur DNA that's so old, it's like 2 sequences long.
That's the big point they make in the book.
Imagine how cool those mammoths would be after we filled them in with like horses and camels.
Henry Wu, who's the geneticist in the book, he's like, we're not really even making dinosaurs, we're just making monsters.
Sweet. Although they looked a lot like dinosaurs, didn't they?
They did in the movie.
Except now we know that dinosaurs were fluffy.
They're feathery.
Oops.
Your cats would love them.
Well,
also, you pushed your mic away from yourself, Ryan, I think.
Oh, no, that's probably
Not a lot.
It's probably fine.
Yeah. It's probably fine.
It's fine.
Nobody cares.
The Division 2 is out.
And
no one cares.
You know what? So you're going to go buy the Division 2, right? And you say to yourself, oh, man, I pay a lot for data. I have data caps. So let me go get the physical disc. I'm going to save myself some download. Oh, there's a problem.
Division 2's Day 1 patch is 90 gigabytes for the physical edition on owners on PS4 and about 50 gigabytes for the Xbox One.
Now here's the crazy part. Total install after a 90 gigabyte update, 90 gigabytes. So basically that disc doesn't have anything useful on it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It's just a disc.
It looks nice. Keep it on your collection.
That's just...
And disc game players on PS4, I don't think can preload before the launch date. Because they can't actually get it and prove that they have it till they have the disc.
A lot of America has a 500 gigabyte a month cap, so you've burned 20% of your data cap in one day.
One sitting.
One download.
And that's not going to be the only update.
No.
You're going to get more. And then you're going to have data while you're playing it because it's online.
I can hardly believe our next story, but it makes sense.
Venezuela is having a bad time.
Their economy's got some problems.
And their power grid.
Yep. So the power went out, and it went out for a long time. And it's really a terrifying vision into what happens when the power goes out in modern society. But one thing that probably nobody expected was this consequence.
This power outage in Venezuela has caused an economic crisis in RuneScape, the game.
Let's be really, let's make sure that we cover the important stuff about Venezuela.
A countrywide blackout has caused the value of RuneScape's Dragon Bones to drop.
Oh, Dragon Bones.
Like we joke sometimes, it's like, the Venezuelan currency is the Bolivar, is that right? The Bolivar is so worthless that it would make more sense for you to farm gold in WoW. Well, we're close.
Getting there.
You got to farm Dragon Bones in RuneScape. I mean, I could give ourselves a pass for that.
Yeah, literally... it's the gold in RuneScape is worth more, and they were using the gold to buy the Dragon Bones. So that's why the value drops. Because otherwise, you'd expect the value to go up because of scarcity. But no one's buying your Dragon Bones that you're farming because the gold farmers are not farming gold.
It's brutal.
Nice,
it's tough,
brutal economics.
And you got to think that. If they get their power back and they get back here, then it's going to be even more valuable. There's going to be even more Venezuelan RuneScape farmers because there's going to be even less ability to make money in the country.
It's really a pity that the PhDs in economics aren't available to discuss this because they've all been bought out by Amazon.
I wonder if we'll see a future where it's like the people in Venezuela that have like the small solar cell and the low power laptop are able to continue whatever. And those people, make a mint because they've got the solar cell.
But the service providers surely not online.
Yeah, the service providers probably aren't online.
Also, unrelated to this, did you see they put DirectX 12 on Windows 7 just for World of Warcraft?
Yeah. Why?
It's like, I guess there's enough of
a market.
A market.
They're releasing WoW Classic.
This look at these people who are hardcore World of Warcraft gamers who just refuse to upgrade. I was like, I'll give them what they want. I guess.
I wonder if Blizzard subsidized the cost for that. Like the CEO of Blizzard was meeting with Satya Nadella, and he was just like, "No, we're not doing that." And it's like, well, how much would it take? Like theoretically,
Diablo Mobile was a flop. We have to get some money.
There's like we have this number of subscribers that are never going away if we can keep them happy. And this is our number. Will you take that number?
So I can just Nadella slides over a piece of paper that has a number
folded.
written. Blizzard picks it up, and I was like, "Oh, good. That's roughly 1 month of our subscription." And then Nadella's like, "That's more than I make in a year."
But it's like they go with the Warcraft thing, so it's actually parchment.
Yeah, and it's like rolled up like a tiny scroll.
It's just with toothpicks. You have to unroll it.
The little tiny guys come up with their little horns and doo-doo.
This had to save this story for last because
Yikes! I just saw that.
Remember what we were talking? Oh, you didn't see this story?
I did not see this.
Oh, we were talking earlier about don't upload stuff to the internet, especially don't upload this to the internet.
Here's the thing about this. Before we show the headline, there would be nothing identifiable from this video. This is like the most unsexy perspective.
Who is this for? Yeah.
The perspective of
here?
sex. You do not want to watch sex from the flight deck. That would be like watching a NASCAR race on the track, laying on the track.
No, it'd be strapped to a tire, and you would just watch the camera go. I'm not even going to read the headline because I fear
Wearable penile camera lets you record your achievements.
You think
you got to scroll down for the picture of it, though.
Do you think the algorithm will accept penile as
there you go
a replacement?
That's
So yeah,
no.
this
is it in that orientation or is it rotated 180 degrees?
Well, I guess you could go either way, right?
I mean,
you just want to a subway simulator. That's the bottom orientation. Into the darkness. So yeah, this thing is just going to be, like a loop of video that's just back and forth.
What?
The lighting is going to be terrible.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't understand.
It makes no sense.
What is it used for a storage mechanism?
Your phone. So
well, obviously,
it's the video is being sent to your phone. It doesn't have onboard storage.
What could possibly go wrong?
And it only shoots 1080p.
What, not 4K?
No 4K.
That's unacceptable.
And it's $160. But here's the thing: you and your partner can both install the app, and you can immediately send the video to your partner's phone as well.
What? Who is this for? What is the market for this?
Can we also accidentally broadcast it to the Google Chromecast that's hooked up to the living room TV?
I'm sure you could. Okay, so they did not a commercial, but like a promotional video. A guy strapped on a fake penis, put this thing on it, and went skydiving. And the video, like,
I didn't see that.
It's a guy skydiving with just a big fake penis flapping around in the frame. It's worth a watch.
I get the feeling that these guys got a lot of money from like a venture capitalist. That's like, this is going to be amazing.
They just said AI a bunch of times, and the guy was like, "All right."
Yeah, they couldn't come up with anything, and they literally came up with this in an afternoon when the venture capitalist was like flying in from his his money vault somewhere to like, I want to see the progress on the thing. It's like, okay, here's the concept for the product we have. It's great, and they just never back down.
They were like, "No, we have a market for this."
Yeah, but hopefully this is not the future of pornography, because I think this takes a lot of the art out of it. This is just, I don't know what to call this.
An abomination. That's probably the first word that comes to mind.
Imagine
starting at the beginning of the alphabet.
Imagine a young Krista. She meets a young man. she's like, you know what? I trust him. And then he whips this out. It's like, we're gonna make some memories.
Hashtag making memories. That's terrible.
Let me have your phone so I can pair it with the device.
Here's the real brilliant move with this. This is actually like a way for creepers to identify themselves immediately. It's like a date rape warning device.
Well, that's what I always say about, like we have to ban the N-word. No, that's a super useful word, because people will self-identify.
And then it's like, oh, I don't want to be around.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the last story. That's all.
Anyway, that's it.
We barely missed 50 minutes for this one.
Good night, everybody.
This has been a record-length week. This is going to be the control to the short week. Are people going to complain?
YouTube does not promote videos more than 15 minutes.
Yeah,
But
I
like,
don't
I'm just talking about the comments. Are we now going to have a backlash? People's like, it's too long.
my commute is exactly this amount.
Yeah.
And now it goes over my commute, and I have to listen to it 2 days in a row.
We put a lot of work into the jokes this week. Come on.
And if your commute is only 45 minutes, you're going to miss that whole thing right there. Can you imagine?
Oh, wow.
The best tech news.
You're standing around the water cooler and you're talking to your bros and you're like, oh my God, did you watch Level 1 news? And they're all cracking up and you don't know why.
You know what? I wonder if you could convince the Olympic judge committee people that the javelin throwers, like, put one of those on a javelin. 'Cause I would,
That would be cool.
that would probably actually be entertaining. It's like,
But you could strap a camera to a javelin anyway. There's nothing
like
that's
the
stopping you from
GoPro.
doing
that
that.
was ready made.
It's $160.
Won't the GoPro do 4K now? The newest one?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's way better.
Yeah.
And that put us over 50 minutes.
All right.